Here's this. And there's the encoder. Good to go.
Hey, welcome. How's everybody doing? This is episode 353 of the one and only IT in the D Show. We are broadcasting live from our quarantined homes. This is Bob the Sales Guy. That is Dave the Geek. Get us online, itinthed.com. And do us a favor, give us a like on the socials and subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
Yeah, we would say Randy is doing the Twitters, but we don't know where the hell Randy is. So
Randy's MIA.
Yeah, so Randy, if you're out there or if you know Randy, go ahead and ping him and tell him he's late, and we're thinking up suitable punishments for him.
Dave, do you want to fire when ready or just roll through?
We'll do it in post. That's how that works these days.
Perfect. Fire when ready. All right. Hey, welcome back. This is episode 353 of the IT and the D Show. And like we said, we are Randyless and guestless this week.
Cheers, everybody.
We're also pros. We're also a couple days late due to technical difficulties. Go figure. First time for everything. We're broadcasting live from our homes.
Yeah, if only we knew technology people that could help with our technology issues. Who knew? But apparently none of them could fix Zoom.
You're having IT problems, and I'm like, is it plugged in? Did you turn it off
turned
and
on?
Again?
Have you rebooted?
But hey, do us you can find us online at itinthed.com. Do us a favor, give us a like on the socials, and subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
Yeah, so, and as per usual, we, in case you missed the announcement last week, we have decided to kind of hold off doing our in-person events until August. So we will be setting those up shortly. Of course, that's assuming everything is still open by the time August rolls around, because if you're paying attention, places that opened up are starting to close back down again. So we'll see how that goes.
It's going to be, regardless what it is, it's going to be an outdoor venue. I think we're going to pick Nancy Whiskey's down in Corktown. We're going to see how this all plays out. So
we should just have it at like the DCFC soccer field. Just we'll all be outside.
They're doing I think like I saw a thing from Rhino. They're doing a wrestling event in the middle of like a 8-acre farm.
It's behind the FOC, and they were actually talking about doing it because we've been running their show for them. They were talking about doing it at the marina at Rhino's Marina.
Yeah, we talked about that when I was hanging out at the marina. He's got a huge gravel lot.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, it's been a little bit of a bittersweet couple days. We had a couple celebrations and a couple losses. I just want to throw it out. Me and my wife celebrated our 18th wedding anniversary on Monday. That was kind of half of it was tech support for the show, but that's all right. That's what we're here for. My daughter just turned 16.
And so excellent job keeping that surprise a surprise, by the way.
Oh yeah, she still didn't believe it was hers. I didn't do the big red bow, but we
didn't look very excited. I got to tell you, the picture.
No, she was shocked. She's like, "Is this mine?" But it was well worth it. And then had a couple losses. Marisa Morocco, one of my closest friends, his older sister died of cancer.
Well, and without whom, like, we would not have the Flavor Flav stories to be telling. I mean, that was all her arranging, and
and her every party asking for Diamond Girl from Nice and Wild from 90 whatever. But yeah, we're super sad. The families are super sad, but she's been fighting for a long time, and she's hopefully not in any pain.
Absolutely.
And then and your cat, dude. So that sucks.
Yeah, she was 17, and she was just 17. No, 17 years old, and hadn't really been eating right lately, and apparently was going into kidney failure, and had lost a shit ton of weight lately. And so it is. That's that hardest decision when you have pets, is listening to them when they tell you it's time to go. And so that was today. So that was a bitch. But
17 is a good life for any pet.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. But hey, brighter topics. Jesus, let's get off that so I don't get all weepy and blow my cover as a dick. So we did mention, hey, as long as places are open, I know I got out and about a bit. How about you?
Yeah, I got to the barber on Saturday. That was amazing.
For what?
To shave my head and to
yeah.
No, like when you're like, I'm like half bald, like, right? So like it only like, so like when it grows out, it looks awful. Like it looks horrible. And I tried to do the beard trimmer thing and it was even worse. And my beard was getting insanely long. So yeah, I'd get a little trim on the side, and it took longer to trim the beard than it did to cut my hair before. So, but it was it felt like $1 million when you left, and I left the curly stash still, so I
Nice.
got that going for me. Yeah, I made it to Duffy's, the local corner bar here. It's kind of funny. Some of the places around town, like I think you were talking to you, that they really took precautions. Duffy's took out a couple tables. To Ralu in Rochester Hills, like the windows were open outside. Every table had someone on it. So,
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it was interesting. So Friday, I went down to Detroit Shipping Company, and we've kind of talked about their plans. They were migrating everything outside. It's because I went down there because we've got our studio there. We're reopening the studios now, and so I had to put the TV in there that I had never installed in there before. So that's up and running. So now we can have Zoom guests for there and keep the numbers in the studio down like we're trying to do. And what they've done is, so for those of you who are familiar with it, the layout, but if you aren't, so there's an indoor courtyard, which is where like all the tables are like in the center of the room ringed by all the restaurants. And then there's an outdoor courtyard that had a big tent over it. And then there was the back parking lot. Well, the big tent that was in the outdoor courtyard is now in the back parking lot. All of the tables that were in the indoor courtyard are now gone. They have been converted to booths that they built in the back parking lot. So there's there's literally no parking in the back parking lot anymore, because it's either the covered tables with the tent or the booths. And they built these booths with little canopies over them, because we all know, I mean, other than today, of course, it's been pretty hot and sunny lately. And they're making a run at it that way. And there's no walk up to the bar to get drinks. Everything is, you have to be seated. It's table side service. And so that's kind of one of the challenges that they're having there right now, is like their staff, like the only people they've ever had on staff have been bartenders and barbacks. And so now they're trying to convert them to waiters / waitresses.
Well, that's the one thing we were always concerned about, was who, if anyone's coming back to work. Are they just sitting on their hands waiting for the call? Are they like, no way, I'm not coming back? Or they're like,
it was kind of a mixed bag. So I know, so like I said, I was there Friday, and it was nice to see, some of the bartenders that I knew and that kind of stuff, and some of the staff, and it's still only Brujo and Coop that are open from a restaurant perspective.
Those conch fritters look amazing, by the way, from Coop.
Dude, he always does. Yeah, I mean, he's dude. Chef Max is friggin' amazing with what he puts together down there. So, and I guess that's the other reason you can be inside. Basically, so going inside is literally only if you're walking in to go to the bathroom, or if you're there for a pickup takeout order. Those are the only two reasons why you should be like on the indoor side of things. But they have refreshed the art. They've done a really great job. They've made a whole commitment to basically feature Black artists for the next year. And dude, the stuff that they have up right now is just amazing and outstanding. So I mean, if you get a chance, just to like because you can walk around the art gallery, obviously, which is on the second floor of the indoor courtyard. But just take a look at stuff and see what's there. It's really, really great. It's a great pop in. But yeah, so I mean, so that was nice. And then I walked around the corner to Temple Bar, which laughably kind of looks like a 7 Mile liquor store now, because it's the it's the bar is still the bar, but now they've got plexiglass shielding from the bar top to the ceiling, with little holes cut out every now and then that they can slip your drinks through and like take cards or cash through, that kind of thing.
I was so surprised to hear that. Like, honest to God, like usually it's the dive bars that are like whatever.
You know what though? I mean, so I give like so I mean I spent a lot of time talking with Larry, George. Actually, there's only me, Larry, and one other person in the bar. George was apparently hanging out upstairs, the owner, and he came down and like said hey and thanks for coming back, and thanks for coming in and all that stuff. And had a good talk with him about how they're looking at it and how they're doing things, and it was really interesting. I mean, like they're like, so like the plexiglass around the bar honestly is really to protect the bartenders. Kind of like the whole masks are there to protect not you but other people. That plexiglass is there to keep the bartenders safe.
Well, that's the weird thing about the masks too. It's like, okay, they say wear them walking in, then when you sit down you take it off. But like, maybe 25% of the people wore them walking in. The rest of the people, kind of everyone I saw, just didn't have them on at all.
Yeah.
True.
And then, no, go ahead.
No. It was just I was just being cognizant of it. I don't even think I wore mine walking in, because I'm like, if I'm taking it off in 3 steps, you know what I mean? Like, am I even putting it on now? You know.
Well, but so I mean, but so that comes down to the guidelines from the state is, when you are seated, you are only supposed to be seated basically with people that you walked in with, so that it's kind of like a closed group kind of thing. And so the masks are supposed to be when you're walking in, or if you get up from the seat to like walk to the bathroom or whatever else when you're inside, because that's when you're going to be mingling or around other people and increasing your level of contact and exposure. And so you should be wearing one then. It is what it is. So like I said, that I left Temple Bar, and wow, I got to tell you, it took so long. It took the longest it has ever taken for me to get a lift from Temple Bar to get up to Whiskey in the Jar. There just aren't a lot out and running right now, which I guess I can't blame them.
Don't blame them.
But so, finally, got one, made my way up to Whiskey, where, no plexiglass floor to ceiling. They've actually taken some of the high top tables and push them up against the bar, so there's at least an increased barrier between the bartenders and the people coming in. But again, only 3 or 4 other people in the bar. Kind of a good time, and I got to tell you, it felt really good to actually be in a bar and take over the jukebox again. I'm not going to lie, that's something I've really missed.
Yeah, I did that at second base. It's so funny when I was at second base, and I'm like, oh my God, the jukebox is on. Oh my God. And I couldn't think of the damn Chuck Mangione, the name. I go, what's the name of the instrumental? I'm like, oh my God. Like literally, I lost my whole train of thought.
What is that 10-minute remix that I always play and piss everyone off? Yeah.
Yeah. What's my playlist? Then I went to, then when I went to Duffy's, the same thing happened. And like Ben was like, man, I miss you. Cause I used to always play punk rock for him, cause he's a big, punk fan. And like, the first thing I do is I put in, Dead Kennedys or whatever. He's like, oh my God, so miss
Nice.
that. But yeah, it's then we went to Great Lakes Crossing for my daughter's. We went to she wanted to go to Rainforest Cafe for her Sweet 16 dinner.
Interesting. So I'm curious, how was it like like that? So how is it in an indoor mall area environment? I'm curious.
So we walked out of there at 7:20, and it was closed. Like there was no one left. I parked in the second parking spot, and we got there. It was like a 5 o'clock dinner.
Okay.
There wasn't really anyone around. The place was half full. They only had like 4 people working. To be honest, it was relatively quiet. By the time we left, it was pretty much about 3/4 full. We walked out, and there was no one in the mall. All the gates were pulled down, and there was, we didn't go for a lap. We parked right outside and kind of got in and out. It was just kind of weird. It was just a weird vibe.
Well, I mean, and it kind of is like, no matter where you go, like I said, I mean, I didn't go a ton of places when I was out Friday, but it was interesting seeing, like, by and large, not a ton of people wearing masks. And although like everywhere I went, staff was, and so I give them all the credit in the world. I mean, that's, that it's not easy to burn a shift, sitting there wearing a mask the entire time. And it's, it has its own challenges, but good for them. I mean, they're at least trying to, at least walk the walk.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not, and again, if you're not, tipping, I think I tipped 100% on my barber. I tipped 50% on a dinner for 16 people.
I got yelled at.
That added up quick.
Yeah, I got yelled at both by Larry and Augie for how much I tipped them when I was out on Friday. But I'm like, guys, well, not only that, but I mean, I've got a 3-month backlog where I haven't, been out drinking and tipping. So I mean, it's, my bank account is still like wait, what's going on? Why is there so much in here? Oh, you haven't been out. That's why. Yeah.
Right. All the bartenders haven't made their car payments in 3 months because of us.
Right, exactly. It's been a rough. But hey, so good story, and this was kind of a late breaking one that I just shot across beforehand. We've talked and talking about walking around downtown Detroit. So we're all familiar with Project Greenlight. There was a story that just came across about a man who, like, so he's sitting a black gentleman, and he's at work one day, and he gets a phone call from the DPD that says he should come down to the station and turn himself in to be arrested. And he thought it was a prank, so he ignored it. And he gets to his house and he pulls into his driveway, and 2 cop cars basically block him in. They pull, they pull, get him out of the car. They tell him he's being arrested, arrest him in front of his wife and kids.
And this is a quiet sub in Farmington Hills. This is not, this is like literally, this is like
right.
a nice sub. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, they arrest him, they take him downtown, they book him, they process him, they do everything. They get him, they sit him down and start, in an interrogation room. And they were like, oh, well, when's the last time you were in Shinola? And he was like, well, I think I checked it out in 2014 when they opened. That's about it. And they were like, oh, so, this isn't you. And they slap a photo down. And it's, someone who had apparently walked away with 5 Shinola watches. And it clearly was not him, but the facial recognition software said it was. And so that's, this is the issue that we've talked about a number of times, and I know a lot of people have as well, where basically facial recognition technology, it works great if you're white. If you are not, there are significant issues. And so this guy got arrested, got his fingerprints taken, got his DNA taken, got all this stuff happen to him because of a bad hit from facial recognition technology.
Yeah, I'm looking at it like the company's data works, and they don't measure for accuracy or bias. So it's just basically, it's just there.
It's just there, and hey, hope for the best. And if you get caught up in it, sorry.
Yeah, 10 times. Basically, they falsely identified African American and Asian faces 10 times to 100 times more than Caucasian faces.
Yep.
Jeez. Yeah, and stop it. Stop using it.
Yeah, please, for the love of God. And here's the thing. I mean, and it's not that, because I think we had talked about this last week as well. Like, I don't agree with the Project Greenlight needs to go away, because at its core, the video surveillance helps business owners. The facial recognition component of it, that needs to go the hell away. That's the issue, and that's where all of these problems start coming into being.
I mean, here's the thing. You can use it as a guide, but you can't use it to grab someone out of their house and cuff them and take them to the station.
Out of their friggin' driveway in front of their wife and kids, for the love of God. I mean, that's...
I could see if you can question and going, hey, I'd like to talk to you for a minute, and be like casual about it.
Or you have the detective show up at the house with the photograph that didn't look like him and go, shit, our bad, sorry.
Yeah.
Stupid software. Have a nice day, sir.
Like that. Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, you get pulled out of your house and arrested and taken, even if they say they falsely identified. Dude, that's 10 years you're telling that story to friends and family or anyone that's going to listen.
Absolutely.
How effed up that situation is. So, like I said, if they were just calmly use it, like, that would be one thing. But yeah, taking it to that far. Couple other things like going on, some big things. Baseball's back, 60-game season. I don't know. I know you are just itching to go back to Comerica. I think, to be honest,
will opening day be a big thing this year?
I don't know. And I don't even know if they're going to allow people in the stadium or how they're going to put people in the park.
Wait, what?
Put people in the park?
No, how they're not going to allow people in the stadium?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if they're going to allow, if it's going to be like soccer where they're playing in front of, nobody.
Sex dolls,
right? or in fake crowd noises.
And piped in now crowd noises.
I mean, I wouldn't mind going and sitting in the bleachers as long as I'm kind of like in a little island. But who the hell's going to work there? Who's going to do? It's going to be
still better attendance than the Trump rally. Just saying.
I'm who cares? You guys, you love that piling on shit. It's so dumb. You know what else is dumb? I guess apparently, I swear to God, it's from the Detroit News. I had to read it 4 times because I thought it was the Onion or Babylon Bee. That the owner of Eskimo Pie has got to change the name now.
Dude, I guess, so think about it. Like, we had this conversation when Beaners changed their name. And
when we kind of joked that we're offended about Cracker
exactly
Barrel.
Why hasn't Cracker Barrel been for it? Dude, we've been telling that story for what, 7 years now?
No, I think it's more than that. I think it's like 9 or 10.
and I just, for the love of God, like, I don't. I mean, like, on some level, I get it, but Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, that's not, that doesn't have the historical content in my mind, and please feel free to tell me where I'm wrong. In my mind, that does not have the negative connotations that an Aunt Jemima does, that, all the brands that are looking at changing their names and that kind of stuff now. I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, the Aunt Jemima thing, like, you knew, not that it was cringy, but you knew it came from that Gone with the Wind era.
Dude,
And
I've said, here's what I would love. I would love to do an interview with like one board member per decade from Quaker Oats, and just be okay, not a problem in 1950, not a problem in
right,
I mean, it's not okay. So explain to me why you looked at that in 1960 and said no
right.
big deal, in 1970s and no big deal, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Now you finally realize this is like what finally happened in that boardroom that made you go, yeah, we
Now,
have a problem on our hands. Yeah,
yeah.
we should probably do something about this.
My two favorite ideas or memes is that you should have Shaquille Oatmeal.
And Flapjack Karen. I like Flapjack Karen.
Yeah, and then there was the Under Quaker instead of the Undertaker. Now that he's retired, and there's like the Undertaker with the sideburns.
I do think that would be amazing.
The Shaquille Oatmeal. I'm like, whoever thought of that, I got to buy him a beer because that's
exactly.
hysterical.
That's just genius in and of itself. So what makes me laugh is there was a story that came across, and I don't even think I shot it in the links. There was a guy who basically tried to fleece the government with the Paycheck Protection Program for a company that had been out of business for 2 years, and managed to get a couple $1 million in the Paycheck Protection Program, and bought himself a couple cars, bought his girlfriend a car, and like really, really high-end cars.
Didn't you ever see Goodfellas?
Yeah.
Don't buy shit.
Well, and he got busted by the FBI, and yeah, so now he's screwed. But I'm just saying, if he would have been smart, he could have taken $74,500 of that, and gone to Boston Dynamic and bought one of those creepy spot robot dog things that we've been talking about forever that scare the ever living shit out of us.
That's the price tag?
Yes, $74,500. You too could have the little creature from the Bullet Head or Metalhead episode.
So do I want a low-end Tesla or a gun or a dog I can put a gun on?
I can put a shotgun on.
Right. Oh, see, that's the dilemma. Totally dilemma.
$74,500. I'd kind of like to figure out how to make that work, but that seems like a really dumb thing to be buying.
Yeah, but hey, Dave and I are always concerned about internet privacy and security. That's why we have teamed up with our buddies at Private Internet Access. They're an award-winning VPN provider with over 1 million customers all over the world. Private Internet Access VPN allows you to encrypt your connection. You can keep anything you do online confidential and secure. Your ISP, government, or hackers will no longer have access to your data. Here's the cool part. They have unlimited access to over 3,200 VPN servers in 46 countries. I set this thing up in less than a minute. So easy, even a Bob can do it. I actually played around. I used East Coast, West Coast. I went on a Switzerland server. They have dedicated apps for all the platforms you need: Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Fire Stick. You can protect up to 10 devices at the same time. And they are now open source. That's why PC Mag named them their editor's choice for 8 consecutive years. You can access, usually when you're going on public Wi-Fi, a lot of people are kind of paranoid. Now you can you basically use PIA to encrypt your data, hide your IP address, download anything safely, secure your bank transactions, and stay untraceable online. Even watch streaming services from places that have geo restrictions in place. They keep no logs, and it's been proven in federal court twice. The only person that'll know what's going on the internet is you. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee if you are not completely satisfied. PIA has provided a special deal for my listeners where you'll get your first 12 months for only $2.85 a month. That is a good cup of coffee. That's also a 76% discount.
Dude, $2.85 isn't even a good cup of coffee. Like that's
right. The Venti. Oh my God, I got to tell you about Venti, by the way, in a minute. And months 13 and 14 are free. Head to www.privateinternetaccess.com/ IT in the D to get started protecting yourself online today. That's www.privateinternetaccess.com/IT in the D, 76% off. Appreciate it.
Very cool.
So I'm making, my daughter's going with her friend to Starbucks and they have a venti, and I keep joking that it's not even a large, it means 20 in Italian.
20, yeah.
And the girl barks back at me. She goes, it's a 20 ouncer, Mr. Bob. And I'm like, God bless you. I'm like,
I was today years old when I learned.
I know. I'm like, I've been making fun of Starbucks for 15 years, and now I get
was that the same friend that barked back at me about the whole watching sports on TV?
No, that one was one of my funnier moments as a human being. So this is it's been an interesting. I got to catch Ford versus Ferrari this weekend.
It's on HBO, right?
HBO, yeah. My wife knows nothing about racing. Absolutely loved the movie. Phenomenal story if you haven't seen it. It's basically the Carroll Shelby. They wanted to beat Ferrari in the 24-hour Le Mans, which is like this crazy race that goes for a day. I don't even know if they still do it or not.
They do. Yeah, it's a 24-hour race. It's draining. Yeah. But
the weirdest part was like, Batman was the race car driver who lost 100 pounds for the role, and Lee Iacocca was the Punisher. So like the whole time I'm watching it, and then Matt.
You're waiting for a fight to break out.
Something. See, he's the Punisher. He's not Lee Iacocca. Who cast this shit? Matt Damon, who I'm not a really huge fan of, killed it as Carroll Shelby. He was awesome in that movie. Yeah, he was. I don't know, it's a great flick. It's so worth, even if you hate racing, it's a great story.
So I mean, like, really the only things I got caught up on, I watched History. So I've been like kind of Netflix binging stuff. I watched History 101, which if you're not familiar with it, it's only an 8-episode series. And just like little quick hits about like the history of fast food in America.
I watched that one.
And it's really, really good. It's a good series overall. And now I think I'm 6 episodes into Conspiracy, which, me, I love a good conspiracy theory just to pick it apart. And like that's the thing I really love about this show is they let all the conspiracy theorists like
you hate conspiracy theories.
No, I love them.
You like to know about them, but you don't like believing them like me.
Poke at them. No, so and it's like they let the conspiracy theorists do their thing, and then they have like relevant experts mixed in that are like, okay, well, here's why this theory is not true. Here's why this theory is not true, and here's how this really plays out. All that.
By the way, I'm just getting a text in breaking news. We didn't land on the moon. Go ahead. Go on.
We absolutely did.
No.
But yeah, no. So I watched those 2 things, and there's that. Other than that, you know what? I got to give a shout out because so the news broke. So Lucifer, season 5, the first 8 episodes are dropping August 21st. And then the next 8 are still TBD. They haven't announced a release date yet, but they did announce that he signed for season 6. I just recently went back and burned through those again. And in season 4, I didn't give Lucifer enough credit at the time for tackling some social issues. Like there's a really good Black Lives Matter episode without being a Black Lives Matter episode because it's a Menadil, with a young Black teenager, and they run into a situation with the police and that kind of stuff, and overzealous white cops pulling guns on them and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I got to give that show props, and I'm just happy. Number 1, that there's going to be a season 5, and then number 2, there's going to be a season 6.
My new hotness, and this is I got to get you down this wormhole. Is I don't know how I've never seen these, but it's the Comedy Central presents This Is Not Happening.
Okay.
So it's basically set up in a strip club in Hollywood. I think it's called Cheetahs, where there's stand-up comics that tell like 10-minute quick stories, and there's like 50 people in the audience. So I was intrigued by like the big name, small crowd thing. I kind of dig that. And you got everyone from like Joe Rogan, Tom Green, Tom Arnold, Artie Lang, Jim Brewer.
Okay. Respectable
Ari
lineup.
Shaffir. There's a bunch of small time comics, but they're not telling stand up. They're telling funny stories. I just watched one today of a comedian. His last name's Park. He's an Asian guy. talking about how he was bullied at his middle school, and he ended up having to go back there for a talent show for like his niece, and then end up getting like the worst case of diarrhea of all time, and like ruined the bathroom and like crapped all, and he had to like he rode his bike there for nostalgia. But it's like this drawn out 10-minute poop story. It'll make you cry. The best one, Jim Brewer talked about how he worked at Sears when he was like 16, and there was like he was in the paint section, and the guy that worked in hardware was like a fuddy-duddy 40-year-old, I'm going to take this job real serious.
Okay.
So he called in a missile threat from, this is, basically saying, this is Muammar Gaddafi. I'm going to shoot missiles at your store. And then he says, long live paint. And the guy called the cops, and the cops showed up with like helicopters. The FBI showed up.
Of course they did. Yeah.
So like he's got to tell this story to like the cops, then the FBI, and every time he would finish, they would go like, "Oh my God, like that's hilarious. That guy's definitely a suspect. You should be a comedian." And like the way Jim Brewer tells a story, man, it's gold.
I'll have to give it a look.
Like if you like,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. If you like a good, like kind of like Dave roped me into telling I shit my pants story at Go Comedy Improv, and it's kind of like that kind of format.
And if you're missing, if you haven't seen that yet, just look up Bob Waltonspiel. I forgot, what was that? God, I can't remember what the name of the show was. Damn, can't remember. I don't know. Just Bob can't have too many videos on YouTube. It's Bob Waltonspiel. Google it, you'll find it. It's
They Googled me at work and found this video, like the that show, whoever put it on. I thought it was going to be buried in like 3 hours of people telling stories.
No,
they put my name up and tagged it. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? Leave the damn story. I'm not even mad.
Dude, you've
like
told
when you
that
Google
story,
me,
I can't tell you how many times.
Yeah. Google me. You're going to get a TED Talk on YouTube. You're going to get a TED Talk. And like me pooping my pants on a date story.
And clips from wrestling events. That's,
Right. Yeah. I don't even think they're tagged with my name unless it's just shit I liked. The couple things in movies that we didn't talk about, stuff that's coming out. I'm kind of mad. Did you see the changes that they're trying to make to Justice League? On this 4-hour reboot?
So I don't think it's the changes they're trying to make. It's the stuff they're putting back in. So, I mean, it's not like they're reshooting stuff. It's, so the movie was going one way, and then, the guy had personal issues and dropped out of the film, and they got replaced as the director, and it went kind of a different direction. And so they're basically getting it back to where, like, it was supposed to be a much darker movie, no pun intended, given that you're leading up to the fact that Darkseid is supposed to be playing a much bigger role in this film.
So they're not adding. So I got from that they're like adding it, like, because like they're taking out Steppenwolf, who's a horseshit villain anyway.
Well, and we talked about that. Like of all the villains you have in the DC universe, really, you went with Steppenwolf without Darkseid. Stupid decision. Like, what were you thinking? And
because that's what I've been watching the shitload of Super Friends lately, like with the Legion of Doom. It's like, how did you not have that collection of villains going against it's sitting there staring at you in the face, like Mephisto, or did I say that right? Is it Mephisto? Yeah. And like Mxyzptlk and Bizarro Superman and Solomon Grundy, and I'm like, this could have been so good.
Hey, Pat the Weirdo says, Bob, don't worry about it. Nobody can spell your last name. They won't find you on YouTube.
Fair enough. But apparently this Snyder cut is clocking in at 4 hours, and they might make it a mini series than a single movie.
Dude, like, and I mean, you remember, dude, I bitched about the last two Avengers movies. Like, why? I'm sorry, no movie needs to be 3 hours plus long. None.
Bro, and then it's going to be $20 to $30 million to do it. Just make a goddamn new movie on a shoestring budget. You don't need Henry Cavill. Make freaking Michael Cera or some bullshit actor that hasn't worked in a while, and Zach Morris or something is. Whatever, just if you're going to spend that much money, just redo it or make it the next film.
Yeah, make it. Yeah, do a part 2. Yeah.
Right. Like, meanwhile,
And meanwhile, the Legion of Doom. Yeah.
they missed the boat, by the way. If you're gonna have Ben Affleck as Batman and not have Matt Damon as Robin and put him in the gray tights, it's absolute
I feel like that would
bullshit.
be the Kevin Smith cut. I feel like
That's
that would.
it should have been. If I ran Hollywood, I wouldn't even let them make a Batman without Matt Damon as the and then the other one, the other great story, by the way, Karate Kid.
That's exactly where I was going. Yep.
Yeah, they're
Talking about Netflix.
Cobra Kai, the series that had 1 and 2 was on YouTube.
So, hey, kids, if you're keeping score at home, it's time to cancel those YouTube Red subscriptions.
Dude, I went to cancel. I thought it was like $9 a month. I went to cancel it. And I remember adding, I got the family thing. So like everyone could,
Yeah.
Dude, it was $18 a month.
Oof.
For YouTube Premium. I'm like, that's a bill I'm glad to get rid of. I'm like, dude, like, and I got to watch a commercial now every 5 videos. Big deal.
Okay. Yeah.
I know. I thought I would be all spoiled and go like, but yeah, Cobra Kai is coming on Netflix. That's a huge win.
Yeah.
That's
So
such a good story.
It's season 3 that's coming to Netflix, which apparently like they already have done. And YouTube basically said, hey, we're getting out of the original content and programming space. And so they started shopping it around. And we've talked about this on the show before, that it was basically down to Netflix and Hulu as far as who was going to get it. And so I guess Netflix is going to get non-exclusive rights to seasons 1 and 2, because obviously it'll probably still be out there on YouTube, or I think they had it on Amazon Prime for a while, and then season 3 will be going exclusively to Netflix. And I think part of the deal, if I recall correctly, was they had to agree to at least a season 4. So that's good news as well.
Yeah, I mean it's good.
Dude,
I mean
it's
that's
such a great series. Like I remember when the talk about this first came out. I remember both of us going, "Please don't screw this up! Please don't screw this up! Please don't screw this up!" Oh my God, they didn't screw this up. This is freaking amazing.
Well, and the best thing is that they gave the fans what they wanted. They made LaRusso to be the bad guy, and then they flipped it, and then they turned it back, and then they gave us exactly what. Go figure. If you give us what we want, we'll pay for it.
We'll drool while we're throwing our money at you. Like, yeah,
right, exactly. And then thank you for it. Like, it's basically like if any of us ever could have the patience to write a script,
and the focus and the mental, the mental wherewithal to go ahead and do it. Yeah,
yeah. Oh, by the way, we're so scattered on stories this week. This one, when I laugh by myself, I know it's stupid. It's a study from Fox 2, but there's a new word that I haven't used in a while. Basically, it's a study finds that flushing your toilet could release virus-laden toilet plumes into the air.
Plumes. I have not heard plume. I can't tell you in how long. Like, wasn't that like when you put a feather in your hat, that was the plume, if I recall correctly?
I don't know, but here's the best part. My now 16-year-old, I'm telling her this story because I'm trying, because I'm a dad and I want to tell poop jokes to my kids to make them roll their eyes. And she goes, "Close the goddamn lid and flush then." And I'm like, see, that's why you're going to be the president one day. Like, why didn't I think of that?
No, that's why she will be too smart to be president one day.
That too, right.
But hey, so speaking of, flushing money away and that kind of stuff, I felt bad. The story that came across, the kid that opened a Robinhood account, and they've been a sponsor of the show before, so sorry. But so they've apparently he managed to rack up, I believe it was $730,000. And it's weird how the spin on this came out. So he was basically $730,000 in the negative.
I still couldn't do the math. I tried to do the math on how he was running investments.
So it comes down to like margin calls and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And you owe, yeah.
Yeah. And so, but what they said was that the problem is that if he had waited like 6 hours, the rest of the transactions would have gone through and it wouldn't have been anything close to that. But and it's like his parents were like, okay, how in the hell does a 20-year-old kid even get enough leverage / whatever to be able to incur a $730,000 debt, even for 6 or 8 hours?
I think you missed the big part of the story. He committed suicide when he saw the negative balance.
Oh no, that's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the you know, what did he have? He had $16,000 in the beginning. I guess he won a little bit, not won, but he was ahead. And then you know, basically you thought he
For what it's worth, Bill just put a link in the watch party chat to go to your YouTube video in case.
God damn it, Bill.
Thanks, 1159, Bill. Love you, man.
No, but he thought he basically just destroyed his entire future, and why bother living if I'm going to have this $700,000 debt for the rest of my life?
That's crazy.
Yes. Oh God, I can't even imagine. But yeah, they give credit cards to college kids these days, so I mean they kind of know what they're doing.
Oh, hey, but speaking of that, before we dive in, so hey, Capital One knows life doesn't alert you about your credit card. That's why they created Eno, the Capital One assistant that looks out for surprise credit card charges like overtipping, duplicate charges, or potential fraud, and then sends an alert to your phone. Then it helps you to fix them if you need to. It's another way Capital One is watching out for your money when you're not. Capital One, what's in your wallet? See CapitalOne.com for details.
So I got another, like, you remember how why do we hate slow roll and all those things? Because it's an excuse for people to
stop for traffic. That's
for
selfies. Excuse for the okay. So yeah, excuse for selfies, and then for the love of God, just stop for traffic lights. That was always the biggest bitch.
Chick-fil-A opens up in Novi at 12 Oaks Mall, and there's like this line, like they had to do a helicopter run for like 5 minutes to show this line. And here I am thinking, as a rational human being,
it's a chicken sandwich.
No, not just it's a good chicken sandwich, but that's fine.
It's a chicken sandwich.
You have another Chick-fil-A at Somerset Mall, about 20 minutes away, 30 minutes maybe if you had some traffic.
Yeah, that doesn't have a mile-long line.
Doesn't have maybe, yeah. So now you could basically go to Somerset, park, go upstairs, go to the Chick-fil-A, get the chicken sandwich, drive back to Novi, and you still wouldn't be through that line.
But then you wouldn't have been able to get the selfie.
But you wouldn't have been able to get the selfie. Instead, and check in there and said, "I'm here," and you're not. Right. Just like everything else on social media these days, it's look where I'm at. That you're not.
Look at me. 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 Yeah.
But like, at what point does like the cities of America, like, just like Chick-fil-A is opening up in Shelby Township? No. How about no? You're gonna need the parking lot of a Walmart, or you're not moving in. Like, dude, how much police duty did Novi need to run this damn? You know what I'm saying? Like, and Chick-fil-A's like, I don't know, I don't care.
I don't know. We just opened the doors, dude. We don't care about our community impacts.
It ain't that big of a deal, though. Like, I don't get it.
It's not that good of a
sandwich. Popeyes is better, but it's a good
Wendy's
sandwich.
Is better.
No, blasphemy.
Dude, Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich, crushes Popeyes. Crushes. I will fight you on this.
You're stupid.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you prefer a sandwich with basically a chicken finger as opposed to kid, get out of here with that nonsense.
And a pickle.
And a pickle. Ooh.
Yeah. So are gyms opening up or no?
Dude, I don't know.
They are.
So that was so they're supposed to be opening up tomorrow. But then because basically there was I think it was a federal judge that came in and said, yeah, you have to allow gyms opening. And laughably, we talked about this with Fred Fred Brown, the last time he was on the show, about, okay, well, if health and fitness is a part of this, then why aren't gyms open? And he's saying the exact same thing that Whitmer and her staff are saying, which is, okay, but in gyms, people are heavily exhaling a lot at an increased rate, and so you have more shit floating around, and so that creates problems. And so who knows? Like, I genuinely don't know if they're opening up now or not, because I think it's tied up in the courts, and we probably won't. I haven't seen an update yet.
Because she appealed, and like, I gotta, I'm in this whole physical therapy thing, so to be honest, I want to go to the gym because I need to strengthen up my left leg. And so I'm looking at Burn Fitness going, I just was going to go in there and I got to do 2 machines. I know exactly which ones they are. And I'm looking at them going, they have classes going. I'm like, wait a minute. So I was going to like sign up real quick.
Pat the Weirdo just chimed in. He said, well, strip clubs are open and they cause heavy breathing. So that's, yeah.
Wow.
Thanks, Pat.
Depends, yeah. Which ones do you go to? No, but they were showing classes already at the Burn Fitness by my house, and then they were like, you call, and they're like, yeah, no, we don't know yet.
So
try back later.
So we lightly touched on the Aunt Jemima thing as a tangent, and I guess one of the unintended side effects that kind of made me laugh is the day they announced that change. Dude, eBay and Facebook Marketplace were flooded by people who apparently ran out to stores or ran to their pantries and started listing Aunt Jemima bottles as collector's item. It discontinued at like 10 to 50 times the face value. Like what where are we as a society that's a thing now?
I'm gonna come to your house in like 10 years, and I'm gonna go on and it's gonna be like in your trophy case. You're like, bro, where'd you get that, man? That's awesome. Like
that won't be at my house. Let's be clear.
Right. I remember I bought a Simpsons cereal when the first came out. And I just kept it. I put it in my baseball card bookcase, and I still have it. I looked on eBay and I could sell it for like $6, and I'm like, at this point,
right,
like throwing the garbage.
What the hell's the point?
You know what I forgot to talk to you about? And I wanted to see if this was bullshit or not. I spent about 3 minutes on it, so I don't know if it's right or not. I kept getting this meme going, Google any 3-digit number.
As long as it doesn't start with a 0.
Right, as long as it doesn't start. And 100 and 101 didn't work either. But if you Google any 3-digit number and the word cases or new cases.
New cases, yep.
It came up 823. Here's a story. 999.
Yeah,
story.
Here's a news story about where what location had that number of new cases
from somewhere. It was always from a different location. It was always some like WXYZ in Toledo or whatever. Yep. And basically, I don't know if it's like I said, 100 didn't work and 101 didn't work. 102 did, and then I stopped. 555 worked. 999, 666. It was completely and utterly bizarre to me.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show you, I mean, if nothing else, I mean, Google is very heavily weighting news about coronavirus at this point for obvious reasons. And yeah, I mean, that it's kind of crazy that no matter what number you throw in, there's somebody that has that number or had that number, in recent news and recent history that's making that pop.
See, and I also get from the other side, the conspiracy theorists that say it's bullshit and they're just trying to flood the, build scaring whatever. I'm like, dude, here's the thing: when you sit at home long enough,
Speaking of conspiracies,
you start thinking of crazy shit. The one though, I guess the FDA came out and they said there's 9 hand sanitizers that could kill you, and will tell you after sports and weather.
Wait, what?
The FDA came out and said there's 9 different hand sanitizers.
Talk for a sec. I'm refilling my drink and listening.
Yeah. There's 9 hand sanitizers that contain methanol, which is if it absorbed through the skin or ingested, it can basically kill you. It's a toxic alcohol that's used as a solvent, a pesticide, alternative fuel source. But apparently, most of the methanol based are made in China or made in Mexico or they're made cheaply. I guess if you use too much of it, basically you can nausea, vomiting, headache, blurred vision, permanent blindness, seizures, coma, damage to the nervous system, and death. It's lethal, only used in doses of 30 to 240 milliliters.
I mean, so how is that different from a night out drinking with us? Like, I guess, like what?
But then there's 9 of them that they list. All Clean, Esk Biochem, Clean Care, No Germ, Lavar.
Hey, he's alive.
Sanoderm.
Whoops.
Yeah. Randy was sleeping. But apparently, if you have something that contains methanol, throw it in the trash.
Yeah, methanol bad. That's a pretty easy.
Well, dude, if you buy antibacterial thing, you don't look at the oh, is this organic? Like you're just trying to
Nobody looks at the ingredients list on friggin' anything. I love the meme that's floating around. Somebody had posted, hey, here's the ingredients list from a vaccine. Which one do you object being put into your body? And it was like all these chemical compounds and that kind of stuff. And like, people are like, "Oh my God, that's terrible! All of them." Blah, blah, blah. Like, really? So that's actually the chemical composition of an apple.
Yeah.
So
That was the. Do you support banning dihydrogen monoxide?
hydrogen monoxide. It's the most corrosive chemical known to mankind. It eats through rock.
Thousands of people die from it every year. Like, it's drowning, but we're not going to tell you that.
Good old Penn Teller. I miss.
By the way, I totally forgot about when we're talking about Justice League. What do you think about Michael Keaton returning as Batman?
I mean, better than Ben Affleck, and certainly better than George Clooney.
And better than Skippy Vampire Kid.
They're just throwing spaghetti at walls to see what sticks at this point.
Oh, no, not Val Kilmer. Who's it? Stephen Pattinson? Roger Pattinson? What's the kid's name from... I never watched a single Twilight thing, and I'm happy about it.
Robert Pattinson.
Thank you.
Skippy McVampire Kid.
Yes, Skippy McVampire Kid.
But apparently it's going to be like... So here's the thing. Is it going to be like a Princess Leia Rogue One where it's like Michael Keaton, but they like smooth his skin out and don't make him look like such an old bag? Because it's like... It's going to be play a cameo in Flash, so obviously he's going to go back in some time frame.
Or maybe maybe they're getting to the episode where, because I mean that was always the passing of the torch was when Bane breaks Batman's back and he can no longer be Batman anymore. And
it'll be more like a mentor role.
Yeah. So maybe they're finally getting around to that story. Who knows?
Or they get bored and it's just like Batman in the later years when he's 70 and he can barely walk up the stairs. Like, see, now that's a good movie. Make that. Or like, or a prequel when they're all like 8 years old. Oh, they do that already now.
Gotham. They did that with Gotham. Or, it's like, the retired Batman. Kids, let me tell you a story. When I took on the Joker, when he was Jack Nicholson was the best Joker, let me tell you why.
And then the big chase is he's on like a Walmart scooter. Like
whipping around Gotham on rascals that have rocket launchers, of course, because it's bad.
Then they got to call timeout because he's got to hit his inhaler. Yeah,
got an IV bag on a roller cart next to him on the scooter. Again, why are we not writing this crap? What's wrong with us? Like
4 people would watch it, if not 5.
Oh, mother of God. So hey, you shot a note across without any really story backing it up about barbecue joints being the only recession-proof business. I mean, not that I disagree because I've ordered from them several times, but
holy shit! Father's Day, we're not going out anywhere because there's nothing really kind of open from and I don't want my dad out because he's like 78.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, Papa, I'm just gonna go pick up some barbecue, and we'll see you at your house. Because usually we go to the Carpathia Club and, get a Hungarian sausage and watch soccer and have a beer. That's kind of been like the last 20 years of Father's Day with my dad. So, I look forward to it, but, there's no soccer this year. There's no Father's Day picnic at Carpathia. So I said, I'll bring over some barbecue. Well, I'll be goddamned at Clausen Woodpile. There's a line out to the street. Woodpile opened up a new location in Madison Heights. We get in there. They're out of everything at like 1:30.
Wow.
There's no ribs. There's no chili. I think they're out of 2 other things. So I'm like, what do you have? Give me a pound of whatever you have left. So I got like burnt ends and brisket. The brisket was not even, you couldn't even get cut pieces anymore. It was gone. The jalapeno sausage, I mean, it was phenomenal. It was amazing. But like, there was a line out the door on both of those places. I mean, I guess if you're putting out good food, people are gonna come find you.
Like, I think I kind of did it smart. I stopped Saturday. I went over to Shots Market. They're over at like 14 in Garfield. Bless them.
That's still open.
Oh yeah, dude. And apparently they sold it. And now the original owners are back, and they're going through a whole remodel and everything. So I mean, it's phenomenal. It's a great, like, that's my go-to like meat market because it's close to the house and that kind of stuff. Picked up, some T-bones and that kind of stuff. I just figured I'd do it myself and grill on Sunday.
Yeah, that was, Shots was the place that my dad used to take the deer to that they used to shoot. And basically, you bring them a deer and then you come back later and it's a couple steaks, a couple bowls of chili, couple this, couple that, But yeah, I'm surprised. That's great that they're still around. I like hearing those stories.
Yeah, no, they're good folks.
So, dude, what's going on with Zoom? Like 1 week they say they're going to provide encryption. Next week they say they're not. Then they say they are. apparently now they are providing end-to-end encryption for free users.
Yes.
Because like that, when the CEO came out and said, we're only going to do it for the cops, or we're not because of the cops. And now they're saying they're going to do it. So like, do people just not give a shit anymore? They're going to use what they're going to use and do whatever you want with it. Is that what it's boiled down to?
I mean, hopefully they understood the blowback that happened. I mean, let's be real. Their whole thing is, they've gotten a lot of boost over this past few months. And I don't think they want to lose that. And that was causing a lot of negative PR for them. And so they realized, let's go ahead and back down off that position.
Well, I'm glad they basically they said since, or they they've engaged with civil liberties organizations, the CISO Council, child safety advocates, encryption experts, government reps, their own users. They got feedback and they asked what they want and what they need. So like, I guess good on them for eliciting. Here's the thing. They're riding a huge wave right now. They could easily, because right now, Teams is offering a personal version, Microsoft Teams. Google's, they're all racing to catch up.
Dude, and screw you, Google, hard, because like every time I set up a new calendar invite and say make it a Zoom meeting, they sneak a little join via Google Meets button into there, even when you say don't do that.
Hey, Dave.
Oh, geez.
Sorry that the free email service you don't pay for inconveniences you slightly.
But it's not a slight inconvenience, dude. Like I've had show hosts and guests that have clicked the wrong link because it says it's there and that's what you should be clicking. And of course they put theirs above the Zoom link. That's
I'm looking right now. Zoom is above on this one. This one right now, Zoom's above.
Okay.
But it's not, have you dicked with it to see if that's an opt-out?
Yeah, you can't.
I haven't spent enough time in it.
I will never be using Google Meets. Thank you. Out. No, there's no there.
Google makes meat now?
Yes.
Oh, I'm not eating their food either.
They'll have Impossible Meat in not too long. That's I'm sure.
I'm so pissed that I don't own meetup.com with an A.
We've talked about that for so long.
Angry. And we do it all we could do it all at barbecue places and have.
I know. But so, hey, speaking of going virtual, I know Detroit Startup Week is going on currently, and they went to an all virtual format this year, as did the Apple Developers Conference, which is kind of cool.
Well, indeed, Detroit Startup Week apparently had technical difficulties yesterday, like we did on Monday.
Yep.
That is one of the issues of doing these things virtually. But apparently, I think at this point everybody is accepting of the fact that this shit isn't a perfect science. Unless we're doing this over some sort of other platform or some streaming device that's not
you work with the best you got.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, we've had technical difficulties in studio before. It's not like a complete elimination of things. This is one more thing that can possibly go wrong. It is what it is.
No, I'm super happy to see that Detroit Startup Week is still kind of doing what they do. Saw a nice little piece on was it Channel 62 or whatever, CBS or whatever, with Monica Wheat.
Yep.
She looked great on TV as she does in person. But yeah, that was that's always it's amazing how many people, like she said, I think was it 10,000 or 30,000 they got through last year through the whole entire event. So that was
Bill just chimed in with a late-breaking comment that said now he's after the Eskimo pie. Now he's worried they're coming for Swedish fish and Spanish rice.
What I was going to say, what Swedish? Yeah, Bill, write a letter about Swedish fish. I'll write one for just crackers in general, like saltines. I don't even know who owns them because they're all like 70 different companies make them.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's like Xerox. It's a ubiquitous name now.
But what else needs to go? Like, yeah, I'm here's the thing. I don't know. There's a lot of people, like, I don't want to keep harping on the Aunt Jemima thing, but if you talk to like their family going like, this was kind of an amazing thing for our family. And, like she worked 30 years for, God, what was the parent company at the time? But like
it eventually became Quaker Oats. Yeah.
Yeah. But like made a great living and came from, obviously being a slave to like living kind of a great life, being the spokesperson for this brand and making a lot of money. It's kind of I don't want to say it's a great story because it started off horrible. But like, you're removing that. So I don't, again, I don't know where they're going to go with it, what they're going to call it.
Well, I think I think it'll be interesting to see how that actually evolves. And speaking of actually evolving, because we've talked about these, did you see the story? And I forgot to shoot it across, that apparently they're breaking down Chaz. Finally, apparently the police department out in Washington State has said, okay, yeah, we're done. This was a cute little experiment, but it's time for it all to come down now.
Here's my favorite part, dude. It was Chaz because they called it an autonomous zone. Then they realized if it's an autonomous zone, that means nobody can bring shit in from outside the country or inside the walls.
Yep.
So they called it CHOP, which is an organized protest. So now they can like still be citizens, but like, because they needed to bring in pizza from outside because their garden didn't grow for shit.
Yeah, they don't have the stuff to actually make pizza. That's the problem. Yeah.
Or a supply chain because no one can come in.
Okay,
so what is
how do we get more liquor? I don't understand how this works.
Right.
Actually, and there's another good story. So it has now passed both the House and legislature, the whole cocktails to go and the drinking district thing. And so now it's sitting there waiting for apparently Whitmer's signature to get that up and running, which obviously I'm a huge proponent of. I think it'd be a great thing. I would love to be able to walk around with a drink as opposed to, being stuck in a bar or stuck in one location kind of facility thing. And I'm sure there'll be detractors and people that, say it's not the greatest idea in the free world, but it's better than what we have right now. And a lot of cities have already like, hey, we're closing down. Like I know Northville, where we've got one of our studios, has closed down their main street in order to allow the restaurants and bars to like go out, into the street with outdoor seating and that kind of stuff to improve things. And yeah,
well, Ming and Mike did that too. Red Bank did that where they closed off the street, put lights over the top.
Yep,
it looked freaking great. It looked like the Belt alleyway in Detroit. Had like a really cool feel to it. And I mean, Auburn Hills. I mean, granted, it's a smaller town and we have a small downtown. But we have the Michigan Wine by the Bottle and a new brewery opened up, and we have a couple restaurants. They took one of the parking lots right in the city center, or like in the downtown, put AstroTurf on it, and put picnic benches. And
nice.
Now, so now you can grab a wine or whatever, and they opened it up for alcohol, so you can grab whatever and kind of be outside, and not have to, be inside Duffy's with the cretins like me.
But no, so hopefully this passes quickly. And I was yakking in a group chat earlier, and I was like, hey, let's make sure that, because then obviously the next step is after it gets passed, then the city councils have to do their thing, and let's hope there's no big lag on that. I was nagging Augie earlier about, hey, Hamtramck, looking at you, and apparently they're sitting there waiting for it to pass too. So because I do, especially in a place like Hamtramck where you've got so many bars so close together, being able to wander around and that kind of stuff, I just think it makes so much sense and just keeps things, I think, safer for everybody, especially where, you've got the one study that came out from California that said, hey, 6 feet was just a best guess. It might be 26 feet. We don't know. So yeah. So
I just got a text message. I'm getting bonus points. Apparently I've been friends with a group of people since like 1999 from being on the same Detroit Lions message forums that we actually developed friendships. I don't think I've ever told the story on the podcast. Basically, he goes, I have 2 questions for you. One, what the F is up with your beard? And
it's looking good.
He's prepping for he's going to have a second job as Santa Claus this week. That's his gig.
This is the first time I actually went.
Or you're kind of looking like lumberjackish from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon. You could pull that one off too.
This is the first time in my life I actually went to, other than being like 14 years old, that I went into the barber and showed a picture of something saying, make it look like that. I've never done that before. I didn't know how to explain because my beard was a mess. I didn't know how to explain what I wanted. So I actually pulled out a picture of Triple H and I said, make my beard look like that. I know, right?
I'm not familiar enough with Triple H to know how his beard looks to be able to comment on how he did. So
it looks like this. Except
if you're happy, then cool. Then they did a good job.
Mine looks better though, but I left the curly mustache.
I feel like you have to. That's part of the shtick.
Yeah, but it's Yeah, because the one side. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not doing the balm though. So like that. Yeah, I'm not. Anyway,
You're
but
not
like
going
the
full hipster on us.
a little bit, but the barbershop was packed. I mean, they have 6 seats. There was like literally all 6 were taken. There was people waiting outside. Like literally, it's like everyone's walking out there going, God, I feel like $1 million. Like it's
So-
amazing. It's amazing what a haircut can do for a guy. Like honest to God, like you feel like $1 million walking out of those places.
Oh, for sure. And so, Pat, the weirdo, just chimed in and said, "Hey, there's actually people on that message board that have been friends longer, from back in those days."
Different message for him, Pat. This one was this was Detroit. It was like DetroitLions.com/forum. And we were all the smart asses and ended up developing some weird bond because we made fun of the regular people that were like being serious.
And that's and then everybody kind of congregated on, God, what was that, Detroit
board?
Yeah. After everything got shut down and everything got stupid. But no, actually, that's the funny thing. Like, I don't think we have ever told that story here. Like, it's like I always tell the story, and I've mentioned it on here. I get talked into going to one football game a year. And that one football game a year, that story stems from more than a decade ago when our buddy Judd came onto the message board and went, "Hey, my wife thought she was doing a cool thing and buying me Lions tickets for my birthday. And apparently she doesn't understand how Ticketmaster works. And so she kept clicking submit. And now I have 20 tickets to this game. You guys need to buy them so I'm not stuck with 20 tickets to this game." And that was like our first, what was it, God, what was that, 15 years ago?
Pretty close. I have pictures going, I get back to like 07. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the
day
first
like
time we all got together.
Dave, the Lions shut down their message forum because a bunch of trolls ruined it. And
by bunch of trolls, I mean me.
Us. Can you open up a forum so we have some place to tell dick jokes and make fun of the Lions? Yeah. So you had, what was the name of the software? I don't know. You would know.
Oh God, that was shit. Originally, I was using Webboard.
No, it wasn't Webboard.
And then it was like IBS forums or IB forums or something like that. And there were all the plugins for like forum bucks and all that stupid crap.
You have IBS, by the way.
You're an IBS. Yes. God. Yeah. Days before Facebook groups and all that kind of crap.
Those are fun times. I miss, like, not saying I don't miss them now. Like, well, now everyone like congregated to Facebook and has to use their real names. So you got to be careful with your dick jokes that,
Well, and you got to remember that, like, that was always the fun when it was like, wait, what was your, like, people would walk, like when we had like whether it was a Lions game or, the old, because God, I think I called it was the new board before it was Detroit board.
Right.
And it was, oh yeah, hey, I'm Pat the Weirdo. I'm Wembley Fraggle. I'm Judge Schmales. I'm, whatever.
I never felt dumber as a human being. The one time I walked up to somebody from another tailgate, because they're like, "Hey, who's tailgating?" I'm like, "Oh, we are." I'm like, "Hey, I'm Judge Smales." Just call me Bob. Don't ever say that again.
Don't ever say that name again ever.
But that was you didn't. That's what you did. You picked stupid names and you ran with it. But yeah, I miss those days. Those message forum days were fun. Now we have closed groups.
Because we don't want everything public. Because God help us all if crap that and thank God that database and that archive has all been wiped, because God help us all if that ever became public.
It's not on the Wayback Machine.
They don't do a good job crawling databases for message boards. That's
okay.
Yeah.
I found it interesting. Somebody reached out, speaking of old stories. Back in 2001, someone reached out to me about looking for a job as a developer. And in 2001, I closed this deal at this company I was working with from Rare Medium. Do you remember that company?
Yeah.
I worked with Rare Medium on this project, and it ended up being a message board crawler. It ended up kind of evolving.
Okay.
The whole dev team that was working on it basically went to go work for this company. And they've been working for this company for like the last 16 years or so. And they finally sold it to some Japanese firm. And now all the devs are looking for work. But like literally, I went to his LinkedIn and like literally he's been there that entire time.
That's crazy.
Like, I know. I'm like, do you know I closed that project, right? He's like, wait, you sold it? I thought it was the COO. I'm like, he didn't do shit on it. That was me. I'm like, I can't believe you guys all work there still. Like, it's still
how is that even still a thing?
Right. Yeah, it was boardreader.com, and it was just like it's just a Google front, but it's crawler for forums. But apparently they got into social media analytics and kind of evolved into, big data.
Of course, as everyone did.
Yeah, marketing data, whatever.
I think that about taps us out for topics. And anything else you want to yak about?
No, I watched an emulator on Trade Wars from my BBS days because I wanted to. Two of the kids that I work with, they're like 24, and they keep talking about gaming. So I started talking about Trade Wars on the BBSs that was like my original online, which was like Zork, and like it was there was another one I forget the name of, but we sat for 5 minutes and watched this plain text ASCII. Like basically, I would tell them like you would log in every day, you would basically try to bomb the other people, and you'd steal their crap, and you just amassed like the bigger number you got, the better, and that was it. And so we loved it.
It's every phone video game these days now. That's
pretty much. There's a new hotness on the phone, by the way. You know how I play Star Wars, the Heroes game every day? Yeah. There's a Bugs Bunny one that's the exact same. Like Marvel has their own game too of like this.
Yeah, I tried that one. I wasn't a fan.
No, I got enough of Star Wars, but the Looney Tunes one is what the hell is it called? I'm loading it up right now. Looney Tunes World of Mayhem. And it's set up just like Star Wars Heroes. But it's basically Bugs Bunny go underground and you hit people with the pan, and Marvin the Martian's got the ray gun. And
dude, there was a shit. I gotta look up. Hopefully it comes up quickly. Oh yeah, there was an RPG back in the day, a role-playing game called Toon. So it was like Dungeons and Dragons, but set in the cartoon universe. And so like you didn't
like the cartoon, like the one we grew up on.
Yeah. And
Come
so
on.
like you didn't die, you fell down, because as we all know, cartoon characters never die. They just fall down, and you were out for a couple turns, and then your character would pop back up. But it was all about like, resiliency, and you could like drop safes on people, and you could like all that kind of stuff. It was like one of those like the D&D group that I was in back in the day. Like that was like once a month we would switch and do that just to like keep it light and funny and stupid. And it was so much fun.
Yeah, they're like some of these, like, I start downloading all these games, then I play them for a half a minute, and then I'm like, toilet. I mean, the reason why I stuck
to just sit there taking up space on your phone forever.
Right. Well, the reason I play Star Wars Heroes is because I'm in that guild with. Remember the interview we did with Jim Allison? There's 50 people from work in this thing, so it's like that's what everyone talks about.
An actual thing, right?
Yeah. When we're not talking about whatever server went down today. Good God. I always thought just shit just ran.
Welcome to the dark side, Bob.
Yeah. I just thought I sold stuff.
You laughed at me and made fun of me for 20 goddamn years, and now you finally understand that I wasn't bitching for no reason.
I thought I sold it, and I gave you a blue cord and a black cord to plug it into power and plug it into Ethernet, and it worked. And that's not true.
No.
None of it's true. They lied to me. The cloud doesn't even work, and I thought the cloud was supposed to save us all.
It's just someone else's computer, Bob. We've had this.
I know. They lied to me too. They said it was magical and it was everywhere, and it's not. Randy, what do you got? You've been quiet since you woke up.
Thanks. Hey, thanks for logging in and your valuable contributions to this episode.
I was not expecting my nap to be that long. I was like, oh yeah, I don't need to set an alarm. There's no way I'm sleeping until 7:00.
It's nap roulette. And that's the reality of life today. Could be 20. Who knows? We'll just see what happens.
I didn't realize 9-year-olds had beards, Randy, taking naps.
Hey,
my sleep schedule's been jacked up for.
You were actually just talking about this last night. Yeah, let's be real. The things that we hated as children, we now love as adults. Like, naps, spanking. I mean, it's the things change. Your priorities change.
Ew.
Don't judge me.
Circling back to barbecue places open, I found a new place. It's kind of a drive, but I'd go down to the Del Rey neighborhood on Saturdays to pick up barbecue. Del Rey Barbecue is open from just noon to 3 on Saturdays, but it's some of the best barbecue I've ever had.
I saw the pictures you posted. It was really, really good.
Yeah, Del Rey. It's the neighborhood that they're kind of getting rid of to make the foot of the new Detroit River International Crossing Bridge.
Oh.
But there's still still some people there, still some businesses there. And one of them is Delray Barbecue, and best burnt ends, best ribs I've had in the area.
You had me at burn ends. What's your thoughts on this, by the way? Like,
I'm
we
sorry.
love Bucharest
just chimed
Grill,
in
right?
again and
It's one of
said-
my
Randy, it's disrespectful. We can't say "shut up, Randy" if you never talk. So that's how that works.
What's your thoughts on this? Is there's to me there's a mystique on like a Bucharest Grill where you can only get it downtown, and I will gladly wake up on like a Saturday at noon and drive 40 minutes and go to Corktown and get a Bucharest and bring a couple back home, right? Apparently they're opening one in Auburn Hills this fall.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but does it take the mystique away? It's kind of like Chick-fil-A where like it was this thing where you had to drive to Tennessee and then you get it and it's off that exit, and now it's like
people were doing Smokey and the Bandit runs to Tennessee for Chick-fil-A.
No,
Well,
the only thing that's good like Yingling people. I know people run, like I went on Yingling runs all the time.
No, it's just down to Ohio. That's
Sorry, I didn't go on Yingling runs. I would no, it was actually you couldn't get in Ohio for the longest time. So when I had my one customer that was in Cincinnati, I would go across the border and I would get 2 cases of the bourbon barrel ale and 10 cases of Yingling and bring them back home.
Gotcha.
But that was for work, so it's not like let's drive the but does it become like that where they finally open up the Mississippi and you can get Coors beer and then it doesn't nobody gives a shit?
Well, I mean, they've had the Bucharest in Avenue of Fashion for a while, so that's super close to Ferndale, right next door to the neighborhood where Nuri used to live. So it was already easier to get for people close to 8 mile, 7 mile.
Have you guys had a 2941 yet? Do you know what that is?
Mediterranean Grill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to the one in Birmingham.
Okay, there's like 4 of them by my house within like they're all around Oakland U.
Yeah.
It's like a shawarma bowl. I don't know how else to describe it. Like you get like the yellow rice and you kind of build a chicken shawarma sandwich
or disassembled sushi. But
pretty much.
Yeah.
Without the pesky without that pesky rice, or the rice is at the bottom without that pesky seaweed.
Man.
Nice. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was maybe a little pricey for the size you got, but it tasted really good.
If it's good, I don't mind.
Yeah.
So, what else? What's anything on the docket for this weekend? Are we cutting it all loose?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I think I got everything covered.
All right, I gotta go and teach my daughter how to drive a stick shift.
Good luck with that.
I'll do the sign of the cross every day.
Right.
But hey, we're gonna apparently wrap things up here for this episode 323 of the IT and the D Show. On behalf
353.
353.
What did I say?
320.
God damn it! I'm not looking at anything. On behalf of Bob, Dave, and Randy, do us all a favor: drink up your drinks, get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you soon. Drive careful and beat it.
See you guys.
Good show, Randy.